Hello, this is Dr. Mears. Today we are going to be learning about how to use the quadratic formula. Now let's go through what the quadratic formula's actual formula is. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. Right, so now that we got it, what we first need to do, remember we separate this out into 3 steps. The first step is to pull out a, b, and c. So what do I mean by that? I mean ax squared plus bx plus c right underneath those numbers. So here we can see a is 3, b is 4, and c is negative 7. Once we have pulled those numbers out, step 2 is to put them in the quadratic formula. So let's do that. X equals negative, and my nice long division symbol. So we put the negative there. Let's see what b is. B is 4 plus or minus the square root b squared. So 4 squared minus 4. Then times a and times c. And I've been doing this in class where I use parentheses to denote multiplication. So I set up my parentheses because this all means multiplication, and our calculator will also know that. A is 3. C is negative 7, because remember, that was subtraction sign, so this was our negative. All over 2 times A, which is going to be 3. So all I did was I took my letter, I matched my number up with it, and I put it in my formula. So where the variable was, I put my number in the formula. Variable, number, formula. Variable, number, formula. Variable, number, formula. All right, now we have to break this up into 2 problems, remember. The first problem is going to be with the plus, and the second problem is going to be with the minus, because this is a plus and minus. So there's actually 2 problems in this. So the first one I'm going to do is going to be x equals negative 4 plus, color coding here for you, the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 7, all divided by, and I'm not going to leave it as 2 times 3. I'm actually going to multiply that out, everybody. I like to have my denominator be a single number, so there we go. It's all divided by 6. And then my other one is going to be negative 4 minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 7, all divided by the same thing, 6. So I just got my 6 from multiplying the 2 times the 3. So now I took this plus or minus and I split it up into 2 different problems, one with the plus and one with the minus. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be evaluating this numerator. So we're going to put the numerator into our calculator, and we're going to have to do it twice because it says the plus and it says the minus. So let's do this one first. X equals. I'm going to automatically bring down the division symbol and the 6 so I don't forget to divide. So let's put this just as it is into our calculator. Now I am using Calculate 84, and this is on my iPhone. And so I'm just going to put this in as is. So we see that negative, so the negative is down here, negative plus, oops, sorry, let's try that again, negative, and then we have 4, there we go, plus, and now I need this square root symbol. And I want you to notice if you go down to this x squared right here, you see what looks like a little check mark above it? It's in blue. So here's our x squared, and you go above it, there's that little check mark. That is the square root symbol. It is in blue, which means it's a secondary key. In order to get to the secondary keys, you have to push the second button. So I'm going to push second, and then I'm going to push that x squared button, and lo and behold, that square root symbol comes up. All right, now I'm press 4, and I do need it squared. So guess what? I'm going to press this button, x squared, and now I get a square. Very handy button. Minus 4, and I want to do parentheses here because a calculator knows parentheses is going to denote multiplication here. So my open parentheses, that is above the 8. I'm going to put in 3, and then I'm going to close it. I'm going to open them again, and I'm going to put in negative 7. Now these parentheses help you to keep your negatives with your numbers. So I highly suggest using parentheses, especially if you have negative numbers in a formula. And that goes for all the formulas. Get used to using your parentheses. You will thank yourself. I think of parentheses like giving the number a hug, so hug your negatives. All right, let's press enter and we're going to get the number 6. So that's what we're going to write here. And now we can't forget to divide 6 by 6 because remember that was the denominator. So we're going to divide 6 by 6 and we're going to get 1. So this is my final answer. Now I have to do it again, but this time I have to do it with the minus. Okay, so x equals, now let's put it in just like we see it. Let me clear this one. All right, -4 minus now. And be careful, those negatives and those minuses are a little bit different. Okay, remember the negative is all the way down here. Okay, so -4 minus, and now we need the square root. So remember, we have to press the second key and then that x squared button, and that will get us our square root. Let's see, so we have 4 squared, again, that x squared button, and I squared it by accident. Okay, 4 squared, I pushed it twice. -4 times 3, oh, still in that exponent spot. If you get stuck in that exponent spot, this is pretty good. I'm just pressing the delete button. You can use this right arrow key and it gets you out of that exponent. So this little right arrow key, just to move the little cursor over, that will help you to get out. Or you could probably just touch your screen. If you're using a regular calculator, you can use that over arrow key. All right, so now we have -4 times 3 times -7. All right, there we go. Is that what it looks like? It should look exactly like that, and it does. So let's press enter, and we get -14. And so that's what I'm put here, -14. Now, a lot of people do this by accident. They think that's the answer. That is not the answer, everybody. We still have to divide it by 6. And now what you can do, decimals are fine here. Decimals are fine. So you can do the answer divided by 6. That's the division symbol above the multiplication. And we get -2.3333. X equals -2.33. And I go to 3 significant figures. IB, that's what kind of a standard in IB is, going to 1, 2, 3 significant figures. Don't forget it is negative, and this will be your answer. So I use 3 significant figures. Okay. All right, so what I want you to do is, 1, take all this in, and then try number 2 on your own. And when you try number 2, remember, this is 2n squared minus n minus 36 equals 0. We are just looking to use this side of the equation. If it said equal to 0, that's good. But remember, when you're looking for your a, b's, and c's, don't forget to put your 1's in. And now you can go through and you can get a, b, and c. So why don't you pause the video right now, come back, and see if you get the right answer. I'm actually going to have a new sheet for you. So, and if you would like, actually, I'm going to say try number 2 and number 3. And again, don't forget to put your 1's in. So pause the video and try number 2 and 3. Welcome back. Okay, so I would like for you to check your answers. Again, you can pause the video and check your answers. And I also would like to point out for number 2, remember I said give your negatives a hug. That means put parentheses around your negative when you're inserting it, when you're substituting it into any formula, any equation, put them in parentheses. So I deliberately put all my -1's in parentheses, so I really have parentheses everywhere. And so when I did this out in the calculator, 1 using the plus and then 1 using the minus, I was able to calculate my answers correctly because I just put it in, just this line, using my parentheses, which are above the 8 and the 9. So pretty please don't forget to use your parentheses, especially when this b is negative. And then here's the answer for number 3. So again, pause and review those. We're going to do number 4 together. Okay, welcome back again. So for number 4, remember we're setting up ax squared plus bx plus c, and it's set equal to 0. I was just writing it as an expression, but now everybody, we are turning it into an equation. It does have to be equal to 0. And when we get into the concepts, we're going to understand why we equal it to 0. So that'll come when we develop the concept together. So if you notice, I do have my ax squared it is B, which there are different letters here. This was N. Oh, I used all X's. Look at that. Look how used I am. I'm so used to using X's that my mind didn't even realize the switch. And over here, what letter did we use over here? Look at that. Thanks for picking that up. Over here, these were all V's. Absolutely fine. Look how easy a fix that was. So I had N's, I have V's, and now I'm using B's. So, and B's are just the same, just like X squared. They are interchangeable. We can use different variables here. So I do have my X squared, but in terms of B squared, I don't see my X term. So I have no B term. So I have to put in, remember, I used to put in 0x like I just am used to doing, but now it's 0b, which is fine. It's very similar, plus C. So look how these interchange. Isn't that funny, that how they interchange? So B could represent a number or a variable here. And ways to confuse the young mathematician. All right, but A here is 2, B is 0, and C is not C. I'm messing up all over here. C is 32. 32. Excellent. Okay. Now, if you could just pick that up and you didn't have to write all of this, that's fine. If it was confusing you, I'm sorry. If you just knew that A was -2, there was no B, so it's 0, and then C, the constant, was 32, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to show this work. You could have jumped from the problem to here. All right, let's substitute it. Ooh, now we're in B. Ay, ay, ay. All right, B equals negative. Okay, what's B? 0. Plus or minus square root 0 squared minus 4 times A, which is -2, times C, which is 32. All over 2 times A, which is -2. This actually makes it, a little bit easier if you know that, negative, this really isn't going to be anything. But let's see what happens when we do break it up. Let's say that we are not used to using our zeros, and we just want to let the calculator do it for us. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in. I'm going to put in, remember, this is negative. I just multiplied my 2 by my -2, and I got -4. So let's do this top. Let's put it in just like we see it. So I'm going to do -0, which is fine, plus my square root of 0 squared minus 4 times -2 times 32. 16. Pretty neat. Look at that. I just put all of my numbers in, and I got 16. Now, if we divide that by -4, we're going to get x equals -4. Awesome. Let's see what happens when I do it with the minus. Mom. One sec, honey. I'm almost on the video learning about quadratic formula. Hold on, please. Really, everybody, like 30 seconds. All right, so B equals, when I put this in again, and I put it into my calculator, guess what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the same answer, 16 over -4. Wow. So x, I'm so used to using x, everybody. If you use x, it's okay. Don't worry. I completely understand because I seem to be doing it. Okay. So if you notice, these two answers are the same. And so I really hope you're kind of doing a notice and wonder right now. Like you're noticing these two answers and they're same. And you're wondering what that looks like. You're wondering why. And that's where we're going to be getting into next. It's concept development. Now that you have the skills down, hopefully we will get the concept. Okay, with that being said, I gotta go see what my son wants. Hopefully this helped. This is Dr. Mears with the quadratic formula. Thanks.